My game, smooth, just go after it, give it all I got.
You will not believe what Melo's been through since 2003. Carmelo Anthony, otherwise known as one of the greatest offensive weapons that the game of basketball has ever seen. He's had himself a very successful career, but just can't seem to get over that hump and win a championship as much as he deserves one. In today's video, we're going to be talking about everything that's happened to Melo since the year 2003 when he was first drafted into the NBA. Stick around until the end of the video to find out where Melo is now and if he's even in the NBA still. Carmelo Anthony was drafted to the Denver Nuggets with the 3rd overall selection in the NBA draft back in 2003. He quickly became the leader of the Nuggets squad, becoming the 2nd youngest player in NBA history to score over 30 points in a game. He also was the 3rd youngest player to surpass the 1,000 point mark in his career. He later took part in the Got Milk Rookie Challenge during All-Star Weekend. Apparently, that's when he seriously started to hit his groove, dropping 41 points in a game against the Seattle Supersonics and setting a franchise record for most points in a single game by a rookie. He earned Rookie of the Month honors in the Western Conference 6 times that season, becoming the 4th rookie to do so in history. He was already averaging 21 points per game, which was enough to earn him a unanimous All-Rookie First Team selection. However, he wasn't able to get himself the NBA Rookie of the Year award, losing out to none other than LeBron James. That season, Anthony helped take the Nuggets from a 17-65 record to a 43-39 record and a stake in the playoffs. They were knocked out in 5 games to the Minnesota Timberwolves, but just given the number of awards he was handed in 1 year, it was clear that he was going to be something special in this league. He averaged 21 points per game again in his 2nd season and hit the 2,000 point mark. Carmelo made it into the All-Star game, which just so happened to be played in front of his home crowd that year, and he dropped a game-high 31 points to become MVP of the contest. Denver made it into the playoffs again with a 49-33 record, but was knocked out again in the first round in 5 games, this time by the San Antonio Spurs. Melo took another jump in his development during his 3rd season. He bumped his average up to 26.5 points a game and was 8th in total NBA scoring. He hit the 1,000 career rebound mark this year and eventually surpassed 5,000 points. Here's where things start to get interesting. Melo made 5 game-winning shots in the last 5 seconds towards the end of the regular season. None of them were layups either. All were jump shots. These game winners helped Denver carve out a 44-38 overall record and a matchup with the Los Angeles Clippers in the first round of the playoffs. But Denver once again lost in 5 games and was bounced out early again. Now we enter his 4th year in the 2006-2007 season. Anthony had quite a bit of a problem on his hands after he punched Marty Collins in the face during the infamous Brawl at Madison Square Garden. Melo got himself suspended for 15 games of the current season, but it helped the Nuggets pull the trigger on an Allen Iverson trade. The two didn't play much together at first, but during their opening game together, they dropped a combined 51 points. Melo and J.R. Smith were later involved in a small car accident, and luckily neither were injured. Both of them returned to the floor incredibly quickly, and Melo surprisingly found out that he wasn't named to the All-Star team despite his fantastic play. Luckily, Yao Ming and Carlos Boozer were unable to play in the game due to injuries, so NBA Commissioner David Stern allowed Anthony to be a replacement. At the end of the season, Anthony was named to the All-NBA 3rd team for the 2nd consecutive year. In 2007, Anthony was finally able to become an All-Star starter. He actually had the 2nd most votes in the league at the time, trailing only Kobe Bryant. As we've been talking about so far in this video, Carmelo's scoring was constantly going up. He surpassed the 9,000 career point mark while still in his rookie contract. He was the NBA's 4th leading scorer and helped Denver secure a 50-32 record and a date with the LA Lakers in the first round. Sadly, the Lakers swept the Nuggets because they were the number 1 seed that year. It was the closest a 1 seed and an 8 seed have ever been in history, and it just became an unfortunate series of luck for Melo and the Nuggets. In 2008, Chauncey Billups joined Carmelo when the Nuggets traded Allen Iverson. Anthony had a 33-point quarter, tying for the most points scored in one quarter in NBA history. He also missed numerous games this year because of a few minor injuries. For one, he broke a bone in his hand and chose to have it splinted rather than go for surgery. He still had to miss 3 to 4 weeks though. Then he missed a few more games with an elbow injury and was finally suspended for a game because he refused to leave the game after his head coach benched him. Denver's roster, though, was able to hold down the fort in his absence and grab a 54-28 record. Finally, the Nuggets moved on to the second round of the playoffs after defeating the New Orleans Hornets in 5 games. Anthony helped them beat the Dallas Mavericks in 5 games also, and they won 2 games in the Western Conference Finals, but couldn't get past the Los Angeles Lakers, who ended up winning the championship that year. Anthony refused to let his past failures influence his 2009 season. He dropped 71 points in the first 2 games of the year, then dropped 42 points in his 3rd game. Anthony got the NBA Player of the Week award and the Western Conference Player of the Month award. He was once again a starter on the All-Star team and led the conference in votes for forwards. Later on, he helped Denver secure a division title and a 53-29 record to face the Utah Jazz in the first round, where unfortunately they lost in 6 games. I'm sure Anthony was not happy about yet another first-round loss, although he at least made it onto the All-NBA second team that year. Anthony wasn't really happy to start the 2010 season. He refused to sign a contract extension with the Nuggets, and rumors were flying that he was demanding a trade. He had a few preferred destinations, such as the New York Knicks, New Jersey Nets, Houston Rockets, and Atlanta Hawks. He started the year on the Nuggets, but got traded to the Knicks in a massive deal along with Billups. Anthony switched his number to 7 due to 15 being retired on this franchise, and he helped grab the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference that year. However, once again, they were swept in the first round of the playoffs after injuries to both Billups and Amari Stoudemire. The 2011 Knicks team was fun to watch. It had Iman Shumpert, Baron Davis, Tyson Chandler, and Jeremy Lin all on the roster. The team had suffered a lot of injuries throughout the year, but ended up with the 7th seed in the conference playoffs. They lined up against the Miami Heat in the first round and were quickly eliminated in 5 games, again in large part due to injuries. For example, Shumpert tore his ACL, Davis tore his patellar tendon, Lin tore his left meniscus, and Stoudemire had a laceration on his hand after he apparently punched a fire extinguisher out of anger after the team lost a game. Now, if you thought that was crazy, stick around until the end of the video to find out where Melo is right now. 2012 went much better for Anthony and the Knicks. Well, sort of. He was dropping big game after big game, and it looked like he was unstoppable offensively. They were upsetting big-name teams, and Anthony was reeling in almost every award possible during the regular season. They even had a 13-game winning streak, which is almost unheard of when you talk about the Knicks nowadays. Anthony was the NBA scoring champion that year and got into the playoffs with ease. They faced the Boston Celtics in the first round and won that series, and it was the organization's first win since 2000. Unfortunately, they lost to the Indiana Pacers in 6 games in the second round. The next 4 years can pretty much be grouped together. It was the rest of his time on the Knicks, and nothing really happened outside of what was usual for Anthony: first-round exits and low seeds. Anthony apparently did re-sign with the Knicks on a 5-year deal in 2014, but then had issues with Phill Jackson, president of team operations at the time. Anthony then demanded a trade in 2017, and he was sent to the Oklahoma City Thunder in exchange for Enes Kanter and Doug McDermott. In all his time with the Knicks, he ended up only winning 1 playoff series. He spent a year with the Thunder, and it didn't go so well. He was paired up with Russell Westbrook and Paul George, and the team was supposed to be championship contenders. Instead, they had issues with ego throughout the year and nobody wanting to sit on the bench. Anthony hit some scoring milestones, but the Thunder were washed away by the Utah Jazz in the first round of the playoffs. During the offseason, the Thunder traded Melo to the Atlanta Hawks in exchange for Dennis Schroeder. Atlanta bought him out, and he signed with the Houston Rockets on a veteran minimum contract. He actually played well with the Rockets before the team suddenly decided they didn't want to play him anymore. Mike D'Antoni said that he just didn't fit in well with the roster and that they still wish him well. However, when he said that, he actually wasn't released from the team yet. Later, they traded him to the Chicago Bulls for the draft rights to John Diebler. Chicago waived him, and he was basically blackballed for an entire year before the Portland Trailblazers scooped him up. Up in Portland, he actually played great basketball again and proved to the world that he still had some scoring left in him despite his age. He passed the 26,000 point mark while with that team and helped Portland make the playoffs in the NBA bubble with big shot after big shot. He loved that roster and Damian Lillard, so he re-signed for another year. And again, this team was eliminated in the first round of the playoffs by the Denver Nuggets in 6 games, and Anthony then headed into free agency. Shockingly, the Blazers and Anthony both felt like it was time to part ways, and Melo signed a deal with the Los Angeles Lakers. He now joins LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, and Anthony Davis on what should be the eventual NBA champions. Looking back on his career, it feels like every team he's been on makes the playoffs, but eventually loses in the first round. He's done everything he can to have some playoff success, but nothing's ever materialized like he's hoped. I, for one, am rooting for him to get his opportunity on a stacked team and maybe even secure himself a ring before he retires. I think he definitely deserves it. Well, that just about does it on this video regarding Carmelo Anthony's life since 2003. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like on the video and subscribe for more content just like this. Also, smash that bell icon so that you never miss out on another video. And make sure to watch Carmelo Anthony fights that no one talks about up next.